Okay, welcome to practice number 18. This is dated 24/02/06. This shape's fairly simple to do. Basically, we start with a cylinder here, and so the depth of that. Then we need to do an extrusion for our piece here. This comes out a certain distance of 205 from the center. Next, we need to do this top part, and we're going to have to do a cross-section edit here because we do have two tangencies that we want to do inside of here, so it's easier to do that in cross-section, to draw those two tangencies and then just add our simple hole inside of there. In order to do this cut here, I'm going to show you how to do that with an extrude. Basically, have a cut, we'll position it with the TriBall and just rotate the angle. So we'll go ahead and through this process using the TriBall or in IronCAD to build this, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me move this over to the other screen so I can see the values. All right, so we're going to start off with a cylinder. So we're going to drop that cylinder out, and the diameter of that is 115, and the depth of that is 130. So we'll go ahead and set our original shape here. And next, we're going to go ahead and drop an extrude onto our cylinder here, and we can just, if you want, we can flip the direction on this so it's going in the right direction. Pull this down to here. And what we want to do is we need to pull this out or edit the distance from the center of this guy. So one way to do it is we can just snap it to the center. Then we can just edit this value, which is 205. So that's a 205 from our outside edge to the center of our cylinder here. And the last thing we want to do is set the height of this thing. So if we right click and pull, we'll do symmetrical. So we stay in the center point of our base inside of here. So this guy needs to be a value of 30 for that. So that's, again, that's going to be the center of our shape, 30 inside of there. So that kind of gives us our base for that. So we can do a couple other things here. So let's go ahead and drop our through cylinder for our through hole, which is a diameter of 70. And then we can drop another cylinder, which is going to have a counter bore on this, which is going to have a diameter of 90. And if we enter again a couple times to our back handle, we're going to set that at 23 for the counter bore depth. So that builds that. Next, we're going to drop an extrude out here to build our cut, as I mentioned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the TriBall to do this. So I'm going to set my TriBall on and move it to this corner. And what I'm going to do is going to drag it all over here to this back corner, and I'm going to rotate this around, because what I'm going to do is we're going to rotate this from this edge. So we want to rotate this from that point. Let's reverse this first. There we go. There we go. So we want to align this here so it doesn't flip itself. Let's see. Oh, fine. I'll just move this over here, move it to the other end. There we go. What I'm doing is basically I want to know 35 from this angle. So I'm going to rotate it here, and we're going to rotate it 35 degrees. So basically, I want to get it aligned with that edge. And next, we can just hit the space bar again, line our TriBall with this edge. Oops. Make sure you're just orient to global if you want. There you go. And then you can lock this axis. And what am I doing? Must be grabbing the wrong handle here. There we go. So we can align that with this handle. So we're making sure we're along that edge there, basically. So we're aligned on this corner point, and we want to move it out 57. Oops. Our space bar. Move it out 57 inside of there. Again, you could use this, could have used a sketch to do this, but I was going to show you a different way to do it. Just need to line your shape in the right location. So I'm just going to pull this out and cut off this end here. There we go. So that basically gives us our shape. And if you want to verify their angle, so you can basically select that edge, and it should show you down here at the bottom. That is 35, and this should be the 57 from there. So that gives us the correct values. So we can select these two edges here and do a blend of 33, hit OK to get that. Next, we need to do our cylinder here. So what I'm going to do is going to rotate back to this side here. So again, this is already set at 30, so we're good here. And what we need to do is place the cylinder on here, and I'm going to put it on the center, and I'm just going to flip the direction inside of there. And we know the diameter of this guy is actually 100. Okay, so now the key things about this is we're going to move it down to this bottom corner point here just for reference. We can just do this easily. We can pull it up. It needs to be 75 from the bottom edge. And since it needs to be tangent, we just need to move it in 50 for the radius of that cylinder. So that kind of gives us our location for that one cylinder. Now we're going to go ahead and edit the cross section hitting Alt-E. That'll put us in the cross section mode. And now we can project this curve here, and we're going to draw a circle out here. Let me draw that circle. big. So center circle radius, and we're going to draw that out. You can right click and type the value, or you can click it after the fact and type in a radius of 80. Okay, so now we have our other arc that we need to create here, and we use the tangency command to basically say make this tangent to this curve and tangent to this curve. Okay, so that will give us our location for this, and now we just need to draw our polyline. So basically our polyline here will be from here down to this top edge, all the way over to this point here. And lastly, we just need to trim off some of this geometry that we don't need, which is we don't need any of this part of this arc. We just want this line here, and we want to go into this tangency, so we want to get rid of that. And we don't need any of this, so we just want to have it come in here to build this basically overall shape. And just to verify everything, you can put dimensions on this to show, oops, didn't want to drip that. Put a dimension on this to show that that's 80 inside of here, and this one should have the 50 inside of there. And if you put a dimension from the center to this point, it should be 45 because this is 30 and it's total of 75 from there. So that just gives you some information to verify that your geometry is correct. So now that we've got that, that builds our shape inside of there, and just need to set the depth on this, again, is 30 for that. So that will build our profile for that shape, and the tangencies here and here. And lastly, we just need to add our hole, through hole here, and this is going to be a value of 40 for that. So that basically gives you your shape inside of here. So we're in millimeters and grams. So if we look at our properties, we need to set the mass. So if I go to part properties, I can set it there too in the browser, but this is going to be 2700. Hit OK. And now we can see this is 4177 for the mass. In grams. So anyways, that's a way to build this part in IronCAD. So again, fairly easy to do. You could use Sketch, a lot of cross sections to build basically this overall profile if you wanted to, draw this, draw these offsets to get this bottom, and then draw this profile. You could do that as well. So that's just a different way to approach it. Multiple ways to design. Just trying to show different ways versus going into sketches all the time in IronCAD. Again,